Ethiopia and Zimbabwe are said to be the only two African countries to achieve with self-sufficiency in the continent. Welcome back to stay with us. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has praised the outgoing governor and executive director of the World Food Programme, David Beasley, for his unreserved support to Ethiopia. In his tribute to Beasley, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed complimented for his unwavering backing to Ethiopia during his tenure at the UN agency. Replacing David Beasley, Cindy McCain has become the 14th executive director of the UN World Food Programme. State Minister of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia, Ambassador Misganu Arega, discussed with the Executive Secretary of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, Workene Gebeyo, on bilateral and regional issues. The two sides have exchanged views on the progress in the implementation of the peace deal agreement in Ethiopia, dynamics in the region in terms of drought effect, peace and security, migration, among other issues. In a related development, a high-level Ethiopian delegation led by Adam Farah, Vice President of the ruling Prosperity Party, and Ambassador Misganu Arega, State Minister for Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia, and other high-ranking officials paid working visit to Djibouti on Wednesday. The renowned Russian car manufacturing companies Lada and Gaz Group expressed their desire to invest in the Dreddawa Free Trade Zone. Representatives from the two companies discussed with Shifaro Solomon, Deputy CEO of the Industrial Parks Development Corporation of Ethiopia. It was learned that the representatives were briefed on the favorable investment conditions in Ethiopia industrial parks, the incentives for the sector, and the overall status of the Dreddawa Free Trade Zone. The delegates also toured Bolelemi and Qilinto industrial parks and observed the activities and the production process of the industries inside the parks. The representatives of the companies expressed a keen interest to manufacture various models of products and supply them to the Ethiopian market by engaging in the Dreddawa Free Trade Zone. Both Lada and Gaz Group are renowned for providing different models of vehicles intended for health institutions, security agencies, cargo services, and the private and public transport sectors to European, South American, and African markets. The International Fact-Checking Day has been observed in Ethiopia for the first time. The event was attended by the Ethiopian Media Authority Director General Mohammed Addis and representatives of the USAID in Ethiopia. Gemich Samendida has more from Ina.
The International Fact-Checking Day was observed in Ethiopia for the first time on Wednesday. A campaign that aimed at alleviating the spread of fake information and hate speech was launched on the occasion. Ethiopian Media Authority Director General Mohammed Addis urged social media to strengthen national peace, development and solidarity.
The
spread of false information and hate speech is increasing. There is confusion as a result of misinformation and disinformation coming from various social media platforms. People reflect opposing ideas on different platforms while they are dealing with the same issues. This is creating trust issues to social media platforms.
Out of 1 million posts in Amharic, Oromo and Tigrinya languages over the past 6 months, 50,000 were false, 30,000 inciting violence, 25,000 with hate speech content. Pactify Ethiopia Executive Director Ashenafi Abebe noted that the social media has continued to create and exacerbate problems. The increasing spread of false information and hate speech with political, social and economic content have been contributing hugely to conflict and instability in the country, he added.
In this platform, there is a spirit of hatred and a spirit of goodness simultaneously. This platform involves a technological revolution that no one can stop and that is also shaping the world. People who reside in the same space have a responsibility to maintain their peace and harmony among themselves, which they should prioritize. Nevertheless, it is your responsibility to make the platform respectful by using it for good purpose. Thus, I call on you all to use your workers for good purpose.
Ashenafi finally added that it is necessary to use and implement new data filtering technologies to solve these problems.
Ethiopia has registered huge achievements in the past 4 years, particularly in the economic sector, despite the COVID-19 pandemic and the conflict challenges. It was stated that one of the pillars for those achievements is the homegrown economic reform, which was introduced in 2019. Skanofanto compiles the following story.
4 years ago, Ethiopia was under difficult circumstances on its economy. This leads the country to craft a new path to improve the economy, and the homegrown economic reform agenda was introduced.
The homegrown economic reform agenda is important because we have to think about enduring our achievements and change the challenges to opportunities. So the reform focuses on assessing the achievements and challenges and making improvements for the public's good.
The reform agenda came to implementation in the year 2020 to overcome economic challenges of the country. Agriculture, mining, ICT, tourism and manufacturing sectors are the main focus of the reform agenda. To enhance the agriculture sector, the government started to cultivate arable lands and support with finance and technology. Mechanization of the sector was the other big step which enables the country to become wheat exporter in the current year after spending billions of dollars for import for several years.
Today, in Bale, the beginning of exporting wheat that we saw is the first little step that we have done for Ethiopia from what it deserves.
Konstantinos Berha-Tesfa, an economic expert with years of experience in Ethiopia and different countries, appreciated the beginning of the wheat production program. He believes Ethiopia has a huge potential in the agriculture sector and the new program will pave a way to utilize it.
Ethiopia has about 74 million hectare arable lands and 120 billion cubic meter water. These two and the manpower are great potentials. However, it couldn't utilize it. Now, the starting of wheat production with irrigation has huge significance. On one hand, it will substitute the import, and on the other, it will change the rhetoric that Ethiopia is a country of famine.
COVID-19 and the conflicts that took place in the northern part of Ethiopia were the challenges for the homegrown economic reform. However, the nation registered many achievements such as minimizing the country's debt.
One of the challenges for our growth is our debt. There was 59% debt per GDP when we came into power. We didn't receive even $1 commercial loan in the last 5 years. However, the deadline for the previous debt reached and we paid 1.7 billion USD last year alone.
The homegrown economic reform is also focused on improving the tourism sector by building tourist sites in different potential parts of the country, and in the past 4 years there have been various tourist destinations built.
Ethiopia and Zimbabwe are said to be the only two African countries to achieve wheat self-sufficiency. Babutwan tells us more about this.
Ethiopia has undertaken major economic reforms in the past years. Among these, achieving food self-sufficiency by taking advantage of massive wheat production is one of them. In Ethiopia, about 12.8 million quintals of soil fertilizer has been purchased and imported into the country, and selected seeds have also been supplied to farmers. To realize this, 13.4 million hectares of land have been cultivated with 12 major types of crops through regular and integrated farming methods. Moreover, the government has allowed duty-free importation of more than 600 high-tech agricultural equipment into the country. According to Ethiopia's Ministry of Agriculture, over 110 million quintals of wheat has been harvested during the first 6 months of this Ethiopian fiscal year.
Our farmers in the country's strong leadership took strong initiatives to make the production of wheat possible. It was a time where farmers are encouraged to plant wheat in a place they have never tried before. This means that afterward, if we improve our work culture and introduce new technologies to them, there is no doubt that we can harvest more than we had already done. This also includes encouraging agricultural researchers to play their part enormously. In the past 3 years, an incredible reforms has been made.
Meanwhile, according to article published on the Chronicle newspaper, Ethiopia and Zimbabwe are the only two African countries to achieve wheat self-sufficiency, with government having increased the 2023 winter wheat production target to 85,000 hectares from 80,388 planted in 2022 to further solidify gains from the previous year. According to information revealed on Wednesday by Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services of Zimbabwe, Monica Muzambangoa said that over 375,000 metric tons have been produced against a national requirement of 360,000 metric tons. She indicated that the private sector also has drying facilities for up to 100 metric tons per day. Zimbabwe's wheat planting period covers the months of April and May. Accordingly, wheat farmers are encouraged to plant early and use high-yield varieties in order to maximize on productivities.
Coffee and Tea Authority disclosed that Ethiopia has earned over $787 million in exporting coffee over the last 8 months. Shafi Umar, Deputy General Director of the authority, told the Ethiopian Herald that this year's performance has shown $38 million increase compared with the same period of the previous year. It was learned that the main destinations of Ethiopian coffee include Saudi Arabia, Germany, USA, Belgium, South Korea, UAE, Japan, Italy, and Australia. According to the Director General, the Cup of Excellence has been playing a due role in promoting and expanding the Ethiopian coffee in the world market.
The National Museum of Ethiopia is found in Addis Ababa.
Well, so this is, as I have told you, the unique section of the museum, which is about evolution. As you know, there are 2 views, scientific and creationist views. So here we only deal about the scientific ones.
It's a place of beautiful culture. I really got to see Ethiopia in the most beautiful way.
Ethiopia as a whole, I think it's a beautiful country. It has beautiful people.
Ethiopia has all the potential to become an energy hub in the Eastern Africa region. Renewable Energy Solutions for Africa Foundation Policy and Regulations Program Manager said that Ethiopia owns huge potential to become an energy hub. Jaudia Hadi has more.
Renewable Energy Solutions for Africa is a foundation that works in support of Africa's energy transition in order to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals (SDG 7), ensuring access to affordable, reliable, sustainable and modern energy for all and the private sector investment. Stating that millions of people in Ethiopia still lack access to electricity, Foundation Policy and Regulations Program Manager offers for Africa, Andre Renzulli, emphasized that Ethiopia had the potential to become an energy hub within the region.
We can all agree about it has a huge potential. We all think about the hydro potential, which is very important to the country, but it's not only hydro. Ethiopia has already built, I think, few projects in the wind, showing that there is also wind potential here. Solar, of course, geothermal, biomass. I mean, is really a blessed country in terms of renewable energy potential.
Renzulli stated that the government of Ethiopia has expressed clear intention to green growth and founding the strategy of the country on the principle of green growth and sustainability energies. Speaking of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, Renzulli also stated that the hydro potential presents a lot of opportunities for Ethiopia in terms of energy export.
I think we all hope that the dam can become, the Grand Renaissance Dam can become a vehicle of collaboration within the region. What we hope as citizens, and I think as Ethiopians or people who work here, is that the dam can become a vehicle of better integration and better collaboration instead of a vehicle of confrontation.
Currently, Ethiopia exports electricity to Kenya, Sudan and Djibouti.
South Sudanese women took great risks to gather firewood for their family, wading into murky waters with unseen dangers lurking beneath the surface. Alula Burhani has more from Africa News.
In flood-hit Bentiu city in South Sudan, water hyacinth is a hated pest in many parts of the world, and it is providing an unlikely source of fuel as climate change reshapes the landscape. Hyacinth is gathered near the water edge and dried under the sun and smoldered over a fire for about 20 minutes processed to make charcoal. As to how the villagers get used to hyacinth, one of the villagers said the following.
Since the floods came, it destroyed the forest which was the source of the fire we used to fetch and the charcoal we used to burn. That's when we were introduced to hyacinth and charcoal, which is a better option.
Collection or preparation of wet hyacinth charcoal is very easy than the collection of firewood, because firewood is very far and you use boat. They can hide it boat for a lot of money, and also this wooden charcoal is very expensive. They transport it from different place, very far place. This wet hyacinth is very near to the dike. They can even collect it without boat. They can just use something like rakes to collect it simply like that, and then they put it in the sack and dry it for some days.
WFP has been running a project where we use the invasive water hyacinth that chokes the waterways to make a type of cooking fuel to reduce the consumption of wood-based charcoal. Now, these sorts of things are absolutely critical going forward because it will help families live with the floodwaters that they now find around their communities.
At the moment, around 300 people, Muslim women, are involved in producing the briquette. To overcome initial skepticism, public demonstrations were held. Prices for wood-based charcoal have soared in Bentiu since the floods, putting further strain on a local economy desperately short on food and other essentials. It is hoped that once at scale, hyacinth briquettes could sell for about half the price of charcoal and provide much-needed income for the women who sell them.
You're watching Addis Media Network, Addis TV, where the report is next. Well, everyone, that's it for now from Addis Media Network, Addis TV. Do stay to the rest of our program. Bye.
Come on, clap, shake it.